Hello, good day. Today I'm talking about training up a child. I think we have to understand that training is beyond what we know. The way we grew up is as a result of what we learn, external influences. And this has trained us in the line and in the pattern we should go, the information we should have. And the scripture says to train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Who trained us? And if you were not trained aright, what is the tendency that training up the next generation would be correct? If you look at it critically, the path you followed, is it the right path? The path I followed, is it the right path? Now, we want to train the children to do what we want, not what they want. Yes, it's good. Part of training up a child is researching the future to know the relevance of things as they grow, so that as they go up, they walk into a relevant field and they become useful in the future. But a part of it is a little convoluted because as adults, we do not know what will be relevant in years to come. We do not understand what the future will bring, especially in a time where the the advent of AI is becoming rapid. A lot of AI tools is coming up. That's a discussion for another day. But today, I want to point out the fact that are you researching properly to raise the child? It is a question you should ask yourself every single day. Am I training up the child the way I feel like, or am I training up that person in the way I should have gone? Because most people, they want their child to become a doctor because they thought they would have done better as a doctor. Therefore, their child should do better as a doctor. There are a lot of nurses today who has no reason to be in the medical system. It is because they were guided. You will say it is the way of the elite, but it may not. If you do not understand the path you followed, how can you direct another person? The only path that our parent knew to direct us is the path of academy. And we were thrown into this path, took everything hook, line, and sinkers. They taught us a pattern that led to failure. What does this mean? In the academic system, we are taught that if you get all A's, you did well. If you fail, you didn't do well. That simply means you are not taught to live by trial, retrying, making errors, and getting the results. They trained us to try as much as possible to get it at once, one time, get it one time and get done with it. That is success in this academic system. But success in real life has to do with trying, retrying, failing, finding out ways it will not work, and try as much as possible to make it work. This makes you failure proof. If you failed multiple times, it makes you failure proof. And eventually, this will lead you to success. This is the system of the world. And this system is removed from the educational system. In the Roman system of education, they educated their slave to do one thing that they want. You'll be the one to be in the threshing floor. You'll be the one to make out oil. They educate you in one thing, and that is what you will do all the days of your life. On the other hand, the Roman citizens are taught in a way where they can teach themselves. That means if you look at my last video, I talked about learning. They are schooled in an art of learning and they turn out to become useful to the society and more to themselves. For example, if you look at the Bible character Paul, Paul was a lawyer, Paul was a tent maker, Paul was a teacher, was a preacher. So he has three things under his belt that is three tools under his belt that he is using. The day he decides he wants to become a lawyer, he becomes a lawyer. The day he wants to become a tent maker, probably when he's traveling, he becomes a tent maker. And The day he has to become a teacher. He becomes a teacher to be able to win the souls that he's talking to. Okay, that is an example of who a Roman citizen should be. And if you look at it, that is what we should be. That's what they should have educated us to be like, not like a tool. I talked about how our academic work taught us how to avoid failure. And avoiding failure is a way to fail in life. The greatest risk is not to take risk in this life. And if you do not take risk in this life, you are heading for failure. I remember back then in school, I asked my lecturer a simple question and he told me he would go and research. I asked him from my own originality. We were told that ionic bond is the strongest bond, which is electrovalent bond is the strongest bond occurring between two atoms. And the bond between two atoms determines the strength of the material. Now I asked him, I asked him, then why is it that diamond and graphene with covalent bond are known as the hardest substance if they are being held together by covalent bond? And he couldn't answer that because the way he was taught to learn is not to reason things through. Another thing we have to teach our children is problem solving. You have to learn to solve problems. Problem solving is also known as agency, which is the tendency to initiate actions that will solve problem, and this will give you the ability to become failure proof. You don't fear failure. Once you see failure, you face it headlong. And once you enter into the problem, finding a way to solve it, before long, you are on the other side, the winning side. That is just the game of life. The game of life is to step into the challenge and walk it through. But education taught us to avoid problems. That is why we see a lot of failure today. I saw a video where somebody was talking about Elon Musk. It is because he built the step to be able to solve those problems. That is why his name is trending today. The fact that we avoid failure and problem is the reason we cannot produce the set of genius that will make this life a better place. Academics taught us to follow after intelligence, which is a good thing. Intelligence is just a tool that is needed for success, but intelligence alone is not sufficient to make this success come true. So therefore, you have to add agency to intelligence so that you will come out on the successful side. So in training your children, you teach them agency, which is problem solving, initiating actions to solve problems, and their intelligence comes to play as they learn these things. To wrap it up, remember, learning is more important than knowledge. What you know today is what solved yesterday's problem. What you are learning is what will solve tomorrow's problem. Think deep, take actions into what you have to do, and solve problems that are impossible. Once you see problems that are tough, create steps to solving it, and you become better. So let's end the video here. Bye. See you next time. See you in the next video.